just wanted to feel good. It had been so long. We haven't called each other husband and wife in a long time.
There has got to be more to the story. Out of all the comments fans have made about Will Smith over the last few years, that one might explain this entire situation better than anything else. Because people aren't confused about the slap anymore. They're confused about everything that came before it. How does a man who spent 30 years becoming one of Hollywood's most respected stars throw away the biggest night of his career over a joke? How does the guy behind The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Men in Black, Ali, The Pursuit of Happiness, and King Richard suddenly become the punchline of his own story? For a growing number of fans, the answer starts with one person, Jada Pinkett Smith. They believe that whether she intended to or not, every public revelation about their marriage slowly chipped away at the image Will had spent 3 decades building. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why so many people believe Will Smith didn't lose his legacy in one night at the Oscars. They believe it happened one interview, one confession, and one headline at a time. Let's be honest, before all the marriage drama, Will Smith was almost impossible to dislike. The guy was the definition of a Hollywood superstar. He wasn't famous because of one movie. He dominated Hollywood for nearly 30 years. Bad Boys, Independence Day, Men in Black, Ali, The Pursuit of Happiness, I Am Legend, King Richard. His films generated more than $10 billion worldwide. He became one of the highest-paid actors in the industry, earning as much as $30 million for a single film. At one point, if Will Smith's name was on the poster, people were buying tickets before the trailer even came out. But his biggest asset wasn't the money, it was his reputation. People saw Will as the funny guy, the family man, the positive role model, the actor who stayed away from the scandals that destroyed so many other Hollywood careers. Then, the conversation started changing, not because of one event, because of a series of them. First came the August Alsina situation. Instead of quietly handling it behind closed doors, Will and Jada discussed it publicly on Red Table Talk. That's where the world heard Jada describe her relationship with August as an entanglement.
From there, you know, as time went on, I got into a different kind of entanglement with August.
An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship?
Yes, it was a relationship.
That single word changed everything. It became a meme. It became a joke. But the joke wasn't really about Jada. It was about Will. Millions of people watched him sit across from his wife, while one of the most private moments of his marriage became public entertainment. Then, just when people thought they understood their relationship, Jada dropped another bombshell. While promoting her memoir Worthy,
We haven't called each other husband and wife in a long time.
Keep my wife's name
out of your mouth.
revealed that she and Will had actually been separated since 2016. That completely changed how people viewed everything. The entanglement, the Oscars, their public appearances. Fans suddenly realized they'd been looking at a marriage that wasn't what it seemed. One fan summed up that confusion perfectly. He wrote, "I still crack up watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I always liked him a lot in almost every role. He's attractive, he's hilarious, he commands the room, he was winning his freaking Academy Award. His movies have made over $10 billion for the industry. Why did he really decide to physically assault Chris Rock right before his winning moment? Is his relationship with his wife really so toxic that he would ruin his previously great reputation on the greatest career night of his life because Chris Rock made a joke? There has got to be more to the story. I still kinda love the guy. That's exactly what millions of people started wondering, because the slap didn't feel like something the old Will Smith would have done. It felt like years of pressure finally exploding. Then another fan didn't hold back at all. They simply wrote, "He married the wrong woman and held on to her despite her not wanting to be married. That would make anyone miserable." Now, whether you agree with that comment or not, it reflects how public opinion had shifted. People were no longer talking about Will's performances. They weren't debating his greatest movies. They were debating his marriage. And ironically, some of that came from Jada's own words.
I really didn't want to get married, but...
We only got married because Gammy was crying.
She admitted she cried walking down the aisle on their wedding day. She admitted she never really wanted a traditional wedding. She revealed they'd secretly been living separate lives. She explained that they had different ideas about what love looked like. She admitted she originally planned to reveal their separation years earlier, but said Will wasn't ready.
I made a promise that there will never be a reason for us to get a divorce, and I just haven't been able to break that promise.
Every interview answered one question and created 5 more. Then came March 27th, 2022. Chris Rock told one joke. Will laughed. He looked at Jada. Then he walked onto the stage and changed his legacy forever. People can argue all day about who deserves the blame, but one thing is impossible to ignore. By the time Will slapped Chris Rock, the public already viewed his marriage very differently than they had just a few years earlier. And that's why so many fans believe the slap didn't destroy Will Smith's legacy. They believe it simply became the final chapter in a story that had already been unfolding for years. Now here's where this story takes a turn that most people don't talk about. Because after everything Jada revealed, the obvious question became, why is Will still here? Seriously, after the entanglement, after finding out they'd secretly been separated since 2016, after Jada admitted she cried on their wedding day because she didn't even want a traditional marriage, after the memoir, after the Oscars, why would one of the richest and most successful actors in Hollywood stay? Well, the answer might actually begin with something Will said almost 20 years ago. Long before the slap, long before the interviews, long before anybody had ever heard the word entanglement, Will made something very clear. Divorce just can't be an option. He wasn't joking. He explained that if divorce exists as an option, eventually one person will use it. So he removed it completely. He even said there were only 2 possible outcomes. Either they stayed together until death, or he was dead. At the time, people thought it was romantic. Looking back now, it almost sounds like he was making a promise he would later struggle to keep. And Jada made almost the exact same promise. She told Hoda Kotb that she had made up her mind years ago that there would never be a reason for her and Will to divorce. Her exact words were simple, "We don't want to." She explained that they loved their family, they loved each other, and what they had now was more of a life partnership than a traditional marriage. That one phrase explains a lot. Because maybe we've been asking the wrong question. Maybe we've been asking, why doesn't Will leave Jada? When the real question is, why don't either of them want to leave? Because despite everything they've told the public, every time people expected divorce papers, something unexpected happened instead. They stayed. Then came another revelation that changed how fans looked at everything. Jada admitted she actually planned to tell the world they had separated back in 2020. Right after August Alsina's claims became public. She was ready. She planned to go on Red Table Talk alone, but according to Jada, Will stopped her, not because he wanted to hide forever, but because he didn't want her facing it by herself. She said people had the story backwards. She didn't force Will to appear beside her. Will chose to sit at that table, and then she said something that really stood out. You can't force Will to do anything. Think about that.
We come to the table, Will's not ready. And he's kind of backtracking. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to speak my truth, but I'm also gonna protect you.
For years, people have acted like Jada controls every decision Will makes. But according to Jada herself, that isn't true. Will made his own choices, including the choice to sit beside her while the world watched one of the most uncomfortable conversations in celebrity history. Now, does that erase the damage to his reputation? Not at all, because every interview Jada gave seemed to reveal another private chapter of their marriage. She talked about different love languages. She said Will wanted to build the biggest movie career in the world. She simply wanted emotional connection. She admitted she spent years pouring herself into Will's dreams, hoping she'd eventually feel fulfilled herself. She later realized that wasn't possible. Then came another painful admission. After they decided to separate, Will told her to go find her own happiness. Jada admitted she didn't take that well. She felt like she'd helped him build the life he wanted, only to feel like she'd been left behind. Whether you agree with her perspective or not, Those interviews gave the public something they had never really seen before, the cracks behind Hollywood's most famous marriage, and every new interview created another headline, another debate, another reason for people to stop talking about Will's career and start talking about Will's marriage. One fan summed up exactly how many people felt. They wrote, "I honestly believe that if he does leave Jada, his fans would probably be backing him up and his reputation could somewhat be salvaged." That's a fascinating comment, because it suggests something bigger. Some fans don't think Will's image was destroyed by the slap alone. They think his reputation became tied to a relationship that the public had already stopped believing in. But then another fact complicates everything. Will and Jada don't just share memories, they share an empire. No prenuptial agreement, a fortune worth hundreds of millions, businesses, production companies, and over $100 million in real estate. After nearly 30 years together, walking away isn't just ending a marriage, it's dismantling an entire life. Maybe that's why, despite everything that's happened, recent reports say Jada quietly moved back in with Will. Not because the marriage suddenly became perfect, but because, in their own words, they still love each other, they still love their family, and somehow, despite everything the public has seen, they still believe their story isn't over. Whether fans understand that or not, that's a completely different question. At the end of the day, this story comes down to one question. Did Jada destroy Will Smith's legacy, or did Will destroy it himself trying to protect her? That's the debate that's been raging online ever since the Oscars. Some fans don't blame Will at all. They believe he spent years trying to save a marriage that had already fallen apart. One fan wrote, "He married the wrong woman and held on to her despite her not wanting to be married. That would make anyone miserable." That's a harsh opinion, but it's one that thousands of people agreed with after Jada revealed she cried on their wedding day, admitted she never wanted a traditional marriage, and later revealed they'd been living separate lives since 2016. To many fans, those interviews completely changed how they viewed Will's behavior over the last several years. Then another fan took it a step further. They wrote, "He didn't want to have a divorce, even with his first wife. I honestly believe that if he does leave Jada, he's probably gonna end up giving her half. But if he finally files for divorce, his fans would probably back him up, and his reputation could somewhat be salvaged." Now, whether you agree with that or not, there are two facts behind that opinion. First, Will has openly admitted that his first divorce deeply affected him. He once said it was one of the greatest failures of his life, and afterward, he promised himself he wouldn't go through another one if he could help it. Second, Will and Jada never signed a prenuptial agreement. After nearly 3 decades together, they're not just husband and wife, they're business partners. They've built a fortune estimated in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Together they own an enormous real estate portfolio worth around $100 million, including their famous Malibu estate, luxury homes in Hidden Hills, properties in Hawaii, and a ski home in Utah. Walking away isn't just ending a marriage, it's untangling almost 30 years of businesses, investments, property, and family. But here's what I think people overlook. If money were the only reason, Will could afford to lose it. He's earned hundreds of millions of dollars during his career. He became one of the highest paid actors Hollywood has ever seen. He made $20 to $30 million per movie at his peak, and some of his biggest films earned him even more through profit-sharing deals. I don't think a man like Will Smith stays in a marriage simply because he's worried about losing money. I think it's much deeper than that. Because every time the world expected them to finally call it quits, they didn't. Even after Jada revealed they'd secretly been separated for 7 years, she also made something else very clear. She said they didn't want a divorce, not because everything was perfect, but because they saw themselves as life partners. She even joked that when Will gets old, she's the one who's going to be there taking care of him. Then there was another revelation that caught people's attention. Jada admitted she had planned to publicly reveal their separation back in 2020 after the August Alsina controversy. But according to her, Will wasn't ready. She said he insisted on joining her for the Red Table Talk episode because he didn't want her facing it alone. Think about that for a second. Even at one of the lowest moments in their marriage, His instinct was still to stand beside her. Maybe that's why one fan left a comment that really stuck with me. Even open marriages have rules, like not screwing your son's friend. Be discreet. That comment wasn't really about judging their marriage. It reflected how confused people had become. The public wasn't just questioning what happened. They were questioning where the boundaries even were anymore. And that's exactly why this story became so much bigger than Hollywood gossip. Because everyone started trying to figure out the same thing. Where does Jada's responsibility end? And where does Will's begin? The truth is, we'll probably never know. What we do know is this. Jada shared details about their marriage that completely changed how the public saw Will Smith. Will made the decision to slap Chris Rock. Jada didn't force him to do that. That choice belongs to him. But it's also fair to say that by the time the Oscars happened, the public already viewed Will through a completely different lens than they had 10 years earlier. His marriage had become the story. His career had become the background. That's a dramatic shift for someone who spent 30 years building one of the greatest resumes in Hollywood. So maybe the title of this video isn't completely accurate. Maybe Jada didn't destroy Will Smith's legacy by herself. Maybe every public revelation slowly weakened it. Maybe Will's own decisions finished the job. Or maybe the biggest mistake either of them made wasn't staying together. It was allowing the world to become a third person in their marriage. Because once every private struggle became public, people stopped seeing Will Smith the movie star. They started seeing Will Smith the husband. And that's a legacy even one of Hollywood's biggest stars has never fully escaped.